If you are on 100 all the time, how do you have room to hear God's voice? And the moment those words came out of my mouth, y'all, I just started crying because I felt so convicted. So what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode. Y'all, listen, let's get into it. So, first of all, if you are watching this on the day that it airs, happy Thanksgiving to you, to your family, to your loved ones, to everybody in your house. I am doing something completely different than usual. Usually, I pre record all my episodes, I edit them, and then I upload them days or weeks later. Today I'm coming at y'all fresh. I'm gonna do everything in one night. This episode is gonna be airing on Thanksgiving night. Even if it's at 11 p.m., it is going to be airing. And I am so happy. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so honored to be able to do this. I hope that you all, by this point of watching this, if you're watching it on Thanksgiving Day, if you're watching it after Thanksgiving, I hope your day was great. I hope you ate good. I hope you felt loved. I hope you felt like you mattered and that you had a village. And more than anything, I hope that you were able to be thankful for everything in your life and that you were able to gain a perspective on what it means to oblige and be a part of this holiday. So happy Thanksgiving. The episode today, y'all, it is an episode that is actually centered around Thanksgiving. Lately, for the past, I want to say 2 months, 2.5 months, my church has been doing a series on gratitude. And I felt so moved by the series and sort of kind of convicted at points that I wanted to come and share something with you guys. I wanted to share with you guys something that I've learned because of the gratitude series that they did at church, but also something that I'm learning. So I just want to chop it up with y'all just for a little bit. I'm not going to take up too much of y'all's time because, like I said, it is Thanksgiving. People want to be with their families. People probably watch this after Thanksgiving. I want to be with my family. Y'all are family too for me. So I'm carving out time just to come and kick it with y'all. So I had a really good Thanksgiving. This was actually a very sentimental Thanksgiving for me because it is the first Thanksgiving since I've been married. So it's my first Thanksgiving as a wife. And it was my first time cooking Thanksgiving, like an actual spread. Like I've done a couple dishes before, but this was my first time putting on my big girl drawers and getting in there and waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, y'all. My alarm went off at 8. I rolled out of the bed at like 8:15 and slowly got myself up in there in the kitchen. And I did all my cooking on one day. And my husband was like, "You sure you don't want to do some of the stuff like the night before?" And I'm like, "No." And my dad asked me the same thing. He's like, "You sure you don't want to cook some of your stuff the night before?" And I'm like, "No, I want to do it all like on the day of Thanksgiving." And they were like, that's what back in the day, like that's what people did, was do it the night before. They prepped it. And I told my dad and my husband, I was like, "No, because that gives leftover vibes to me." So I want everybody, before we get started and get to the nitty gritty, how y'all feel about leftovers in general? And then how do you feel about Thanksgiving leftovers? Because for me, I can't eat Thanksgiving food too long, which is why I opted to do kind of sort of like a non traditional menu. Because after spending so many years eating that stuff over and over again, Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving, listen, I'm not good with leftovers to begin with. So that's why I was like, no, I'm gonna just get up early, Thursday morning. I'm gonna cook everything. It's gonna be great. And I did good, y'all. I'm so happy. I started at 8:15. I think most of the food was done at like 12:30. The only thing that took a lot longer were my greens and my turkey wings. Those were done at like 2 o'clock. But Everything was great. I still got my husband. So I must have passed the test. My baby loved it. The kids enjoyed the food. It was fun. My mac and cheese, y'all. Oh, I had to brag on myself just for a little bit. My mac and cheese was so good. And I've always made homemade mac and cheese because my grandmother taught me how to make it. But I did my own twist to it. And y'all, my mac and cheese was bussin'. Like, I did a seafood mac and cheese. Do you hear me? I'm grown in these streets. I did a seafood mac and cheese. But anyways, I'm getting hungry again. Needless to say, I said all that to brag on myself and just say how important this Thanksgiving was for me. This was special for me. This was really special for me. And it just puts that small thing puts things into perspective, and I think that's what this whole episode is about, is just putting things into perspective. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So I want us to have a Thanksgiving centered conversation that puts us in a mindset and a perspective on slowing down, on noticing God and noticing what his will is for us, and choosing gratitude. Because one thing that I have learned while the my pastor has been preaching this series on gratitude is that gratitude is something that you choose, right? And not only is it something that you choose, but for me, what I've been able to realize is that gratitude is a posture that you have to take. And that can look different for everybody depending on what season you're in, depending on what part of your life you're in, depending on what kind of tribulations you're up against. Like, gratitude for me can look completely different for what gratitude for the next person would look like. But I think the most important thing to know about it is that it is a posture that we have to take. And how we take that posture is going to be the very identical resemblance of how gratitude shows up in our lives and also in our actions. So I think that is something that's very important to remember. This episode is about finding gratitude, not just in the good, but in the growing, the stretching, and even the silent seasons. And for me personally, I'm at the latter part of that. I'm at that silent season part, and I'm at that part where it's like, okay, God, I'm praying and I'm asking, but it's like I don't really necessarily hear anything back. But I think that's why it's so important for us to slow down, for us to pace ourselves at a better pace so we can hear him. Because if you are on 100 all the time, how do you have room to hear God's voice? You don't. You know what I'm saying? If you're always chasing and going, you don't have time to hear him, because even God rested. Okay. It's a reason why he did everything in 6 days. And on the seventh day, he rested. And I think that it's important for us to do that, because if we go like the Energizer Bunny, and we're always doing things and there's always something for us to do, it's so easy to lose gratification in those moments. If you're bustling and you're hustling and you're out there and you're doing it, and it's like you don't have time to realize what God has already done for you. You don't have time to appreciate the things he's already blessed you with. So it is important to rest, and it is important to take advantage of those silent seasons. I actually had a conversation just last night with my cousin, and I was talking to her, and we was just going back and forth, shooting the stuff, the banter and all the things. And I told her, I said, it's important to understand the seasons that God places us in, and important to understand those and be in those moments without having questions. Because I think it's so easy for us as people to have a bad day, and then the first thing we say is like, why this got to be my life? Why this got to happen to me? Why my tire had to do this? Why my car had to break down? Why my boss got to be on my nerves? Why, to where we don't understand where we are. We don't understand the situation and everything really going on around us, because we're overloading ourselves, or we're drowning ourselves in questions, when if in reality we slowed down and we just sat in the moment, the answers to those questions that we have, they're literally there in front of us. So I think it is important in this particular climate where, and I've said this before, everything is go, 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 move, like I want this, I want that, and I need this by this age, and I need that by that age. It's important to just slow down. It's important to just slow down, Take a breath. It's okay if you don't get the house you want by 35. It's okay if you don't get the relationship you want by 25. It's okay if you don't get those things at all. But I'm sure that there's so much other stuff that you've gotten that you can be grateful for. And I often personally remind myself, because I'm going to be honest, y'all, I have been in a season where I've been ungrateful about some things. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna talk about me so I don't talk about you. Shout out to PH. Where I've been ungrateful and I've been upset with God in a way about what I don't have, to where I didn't realize what I already had. But we're gonna get into that because there's a story time attached to that. Um Gratitude is the feeling of thankfulness for what one has, and it is both an emotion and a personality trait. Like I said, gratitude is a heart posture. It's how you present yourself in situations. It's how you act when somebody cuts you off in the middle of the road. It's how you act when the person in front of you at the checkout line is having a hard time and is doing, taking forever. It's how you show up when you lose your job. It's how you show up when you get a new job. Those things and those personality traits that you show and those reactions and all of those things, that's all a part of it. Like I said, it's an emotion. Gratitude is so much bigger than just saying thank you. It's the act of showing it. And it's even the act of, when it doesn't happen the way we want to happen, we still say thank you. That's what gratitude really is. So I'm gonna share my connection to this topic in particular. Like I told y'all, there was a story time. So I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago, um, I was in a funk, is what I'll call it. I was in a funk, and I want to say this: comparison is the thief of joy, right? If you ever for 1 second compare yourself or your situation to something or someone, you are automatically robbing yourself of joy. I was on, I think it was probably like TikTok or something. I don't know. But I know so there's this show, and I don't want to mention the name of the show, but there's this show about these random regular people, right? Who grew an audience on TikTok. And there was a little bit of a scandal in there too. So, of course, people attract to drama. It blows up, it goes crazy. And they land a TV show. If you watch this show by now, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I have this friend group where we have a channel, Becoming Her, on YouTube, if y'all want to check it out. We have a channel, and we started this channel, I want to say about 2 years ago. We started the channel, if I'm not mistaken. And it was hard for us to really put words or language behind what we wanted to do with it. But we knew overall what we wanted, right? And I was on TikTok, and I'm seeing this group of people blow up and how they got this TV show and all the things. And immediately I'm like pissed off, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, dang, like we wanted to do something like this. This could be us. This is what we could be doing. And why, why is it so easy for other people to get stuff? And then they also, they wasn't, yeah. Anyways, um, so of course I'm in my head now, and I'm like, dang, like we can't never get nothing. We can't never have nothing. Nothing don't never work out. Blah 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 blah. Like I'm just pissed off. I'm throwing myself like a rant. Like I'm upset. I am negative Nancy 100% the entire day. And it happened to me on a Wednesday. And my husband does these amazing fasts every Wednesday. So my husband does these fasts, and I joined him this particular Wednesday. I fasted with him, and I was getting ready to break my fast. And it's like all like it, it's so crazy. It was like I was fasting, but I still had this negative spirit. And obviously those two they can't coexist together. But I'm fasting anyway. Like I'm sacrificing from food, but I'm still kind of like like in reality, I'm just upset because I'm like, dang, like I know what me and the girls are trying to do. I know what we're capable of. Like I know we can help people. And because it's not about the fame of it, it's not about the money necessarily, but it's like I know we can help people. Like, I know this would be great. I know this would be different. Like, I believe in it. I believe in this. And then I see somebody else shoot off to the stars because of a scandal. And I'm like, we don't have a scandal. We just have positive stuff. And it's like, why y'all don't like positive stuff? Like, not y'all, not the living room people, but the other people in the world. Like, why are they so attracted to just negative stuff? Like, why is that the stuff that everybody wants to feed their spirit with? But anyways, I digress. So I'm like in my feelings and I'm upset. And as I'm getting ready to break my fast, I'm praying, like I'm praying out and I'm telling, like, at this point I'm repenting. Like, I don't want to ask you for anything, but I want to thank you for everything. And the moment those words came out of my mouth, y'all, I just started crying because I felt so convicted. And it was like God had literally like shook me up in that moment. You know how like when your babies or your child is cutting up and you like grab them by the shirt, like you twist it a little bit? That's what he had did me. And I felt so bad. And I just began to realize in that moment that instead of me personally complaining about what I don't have, I had to think about all the things that I do have. Because when I tell y'all, I don't want to cry. God has blown my mind. Like, whoo, wait a minute. I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be sitting here. I shouldn't be the one telling y'all this. It shouldn't be me, right? But God has blown my mind. And when I tell you, I felt so convicted, but immediately I just felt so blessed. And I feel so blessed and I am so blessed. And I got so caught up in what I wanted and what I didn't have that I literally lost translation on what he had already blessed me with. And this past year, especially that moment 2 or 3 weeks ago, but this past year of my life has taught me that gratitude is not loud. It doesn't have to be loud. It's quiet moments, it's answered prayers, and it's even realizing God is still God when he says no. Because there have been times where he has told me no this year. And then when I look back and I'm like, now I know why you told me no. Now it makes sense that that wasn't what you wanted for me, or that wasn't a part of your divine will. I just had a flashback. Whew. Wow. I just had a flashback. Because God knows better for us. He knows what we need, and it's so crazy to think about. It's easy to say, but when y'all really think about it, I want you to tell this to yourself. If you're in a bad place, if you're in a hard spot, I want you to tell this to yourself. God knows what I need even when I think he doesn't. Like, if you think about that, it does something to me. Like, it's literally doing something to me when I say that. God knows what I need even when I think he doesn't. And I'm going to tell you how God knows what you need even when you think he doesn't. Because in his word it says, before I formed you, I knew you. In your mother's womb, he knew who we were. Okay? You don't believe me? Jeremiah 29:11. For I have plans for you, said the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. The thing about that scripture, though, is that when people quote it out, they say it like, oh, okay, God knows he wants me. That particular scripture, that text, and go read the whole entire thing if you don't believe me. They were in a hard place. It was a group of people in a hard place who had given up on God, who did not trust God anymore, who felt like God had abandoned them. And he said to them, for I have plans for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you. He wasn't just walking by and told that to them. They were in a hard place. So that tells me as a believer that, God, you were good. Wait a minute. That tells me as a believer that even in my hard places, you still know what's best for me. Even in my ungratefulness, you still know what's best for me. Even when I'm not serving you like I should, even when I'm not obedient like I should, you are still looking beyond all of that. You are still there for me. You are still loving me. You are still making a way for me. My job is still there. My house is still there. My car still drives. You are still in the midst of it. And that's literally the conviction that I got that day. Because when I tell y'all, I was in a funk because I was so pissed off about one thing I didn't have. One thing that I didn't have. I forgot about the other 99 he's done all year, all my life. But let's just break it down to simple math. I forgot about the other 99 he did that month, that week, the day before, because of one thing. And that is what the enemy wants. He wants to come against our minds. He wants to come against the what we can't see. You have to have faith that is going to happen. And that's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants to trick us into believing, oh, because you don't have it now, you're never going to have it. Oh, because you can't see it now, you're never going to see it. And in reality, it's not. For I have plans for you, said the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And sometimes the things that we want, they don't prosper us. They harm us, which is why God doesn't allow us to have them, because his word says that those plans that he has are to prosper us, not to harm us. So if he let us have our way, we would be where? Oh, okay, that part. God will not elevate you to more until he knows he can trust you with less. You don't believe me? Go read Matthew chapter 25, verse 23, and come back and tell me what it says. Start where you are, use what you have, and let God make the difference. That's what we have to do. But we have to be grateful while doing it. Our heart posture must be right while doing it. Our intentions must be pure while doing it. We can't just be out here doing stuff to do stuff and just thinking like, oh, because I did it, then okay, there goes my miracle. No, the heart posture has to be right. The intentions have to be right. You have to have a clear head on what you're doing. Because if you're just doing it to do it, you don't think he knows that? Let's be for real. Gratitude is so important in this season. How we show up in the world is so important in this season, in the climate of the world. Like, I, come on now. I don't even have to go there. Y'all know I don't do politics. Not in this space. But in this season, you got to be grateful. Because there's so many other people who don't have opportunities to be grateful, who aren't. You have to be grateful. You just have to. Gratitude is perspective. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing to what's sustaining us. And that's what that moment of prayer did for me. I went from thinking about what I didn't have to a quick snap back into, oh my God, but I have this, I have that. My child is healthy. My bills are paid. I'm going to eat tonight. We can't focus on what we don't have. And it's hard. I am not here to say that it's like so easy to not see what you don't have, because it's hard. It's very hard. I wake up every day and I don't get in my G-Wagon. That's for my husband when he watches this. Anyways, but I have a very, very nice vehicle. But see, when you're missing out on what you don't have, you'll forget what you do have. And that's where gratitude comes in. Gratitude says, you know what? I'm going to drive this thing just like it's that G-Wagon. And when I get the G-Wagon, then you're going to appreciate it even more. That's what gratitude looks like. Gratitude looks like I might not have the house, but I'm going to clean this apartment. Me and my sister-in-law talked about that on the episode together. If you got a 1-bedroom, clean that 1-bedroom. Take care of that 1-bedroom. Because how you treat that 1-bedroom is going to be how God knows he can bless you with a 5-bedroom. So you have to show up the best version of yourself in this season before he can take you to another season. And that's what I'm learning. Gratitude is practice. Just practice being grateful. Lord, thank you for the breath I breathe. Simple, grateful. Because guess what? He did not have to blow his breath into our lungs. Nobody had to eat turkey today. Nobody had to have anything to eat today. But if he blew his breath into our lungs, that alone is something to be grateful for. Thank you for your peace. Thank you for the steps I'm learning to take. Even if you aren't moving how you want to move, even if you aren't going where you think you want to go, even if you're not there, thank you for the steps that I'm learning to take. Thank you for the things that I want to do. Thank you for giving me a passion to even think about. Thank you for giving me a business to even dream about. Gratitude starts at the smallest level, and that is what I am learning because, like I said, I have fallen into a time where I was being very ungrateful. I was not appreciative of what he had given me. It wasn't good enough. Get somebody else. It was, I'll be honest, because we all do it. But I think the most important thing is realizing that we're doing it and then making a difference about it. I think that's the most part. Gratitude is trust. Being thankful even when you don't see the full picture. That is probably going to be the hardest thing to do about everything I said, is to be thankful even when you don't see the full picture. But you have to just trust him. God starts with a step. Start with a flashlight, okay? And just take the first step. Once you take the first step, oh, there's another step. And you keep going. And before you know it, your steps are going to turn into a whole road. But you have to start somewhere. And you're not going to see the whole picture. It's not when Picasso started to paint, he only started with the first stroke. He didn't have a finished image when he sat down. He started with the first one. And then it grew. And then you finish and you practice and you might have to leave and go get a snack and then come back and then finish the painting. Maybe the painting takes you 2 days. Maybe the painting takes you 2 months. But you tell me one artist that has sat down at the easel, flipped the brush once, and then the whole picture was finished. Tell me one. And if you do tell me one, I'm pretty sure that picture was ugly as heck. Because that don't sound like no picture I want to see in no art gallery. Beautiful portraits take time. And if you want your portrait to be beautiful, if you want your portrait to be full and filled, it's going to take time. And time, I know everybody got this timeline. Everybody got a time clock on what they want and how they want it and all the things. And listen, come on now. We got to do better. Gratitude is healing. It pulls us out of comparison and back into contentment. As soon as I realized that I was wrong for how I had been feeling that whole day while fasting, the nerve of me, might I add, once I realized that, I was able to easily draw back into a place of, wow, this is more than what somebody else has. And I tell myself that every day, at least once a day. I am living, at least one person's prayer has been answered in my life. I'm living that prayer. And they're probably still waiting on it to happen. So I have to humble myself in that way and realize, girl, you are not bigger than the program. This is not about you. This is not starting in with you. And I have to constantly tell myself that. And I think that we all as people should constantly remind ourselves and tell ourselves that. I've learned that gratitude isn't denying reality. It's acknowledging God in it. That's what I've learned, is that everything is not going to be the way that I want it to be. And that sucks a lot of the times because I'm a very A-type particular person. But everything is not going to be the way that I want it to be. Everything isn't going to go the way that I want it to go. But if I say that I have faith, then that means that God is somewhere in the actual final plan, and everything is going to work out the way that it should. And I just thought of this. God doesn't need our permission for him to work. He doesn't need to check in with us. God does not need our permission for him to work. He is going to do what he do all the time. So it doesn't matter, right? The only thing that he does need, or he wants from us, because he don't even need it, because he will bless you without your yes. But he wants our yes. He wants us to say yes to him. He wants us to submit to him. God will make a good thing out of anything, no matter what you do or say. If it is God in it, if it's his will, it must be done. It will be done. So, in closing, because I just ran through them cards fast. In closing, as we are stepping out of the Thanksgiving day, right? But it's still a holiday season. And even beyond the holiday season, it's still a reason to be grateful. It's still a reason to be thankful. We shouldn't just be thankful on Thanksgiving Day. But as we are moving on, we're going to go from Christmas to a whole new year, y'all. This year has flown by. I pray that God meets you with rest, with clarity, with joy. Because remember, like I said, even God rested. Even God took a break. And I hope that we are all able to see God in our individual situations. And if you don't see God in your individual situation, then I encourage you to continue to pray and seek him until you see him. That part. That was good. I like that for myself. Um I just want us to be grateful for everything that he's already done this year. Because if you took a second right now to just close your eyes and just think about everything that God has done from this day going backward, it's probably a lot. It's probably a lot. So we have to be grateful for those things. We have to see him in everything, especially in the things that we didn't understand. Because I'm pretty sure that in those things that we didn't understand lied our biggest blessings. I'm telling you, I am currently living in a plan that I did not understand. I didn't understand why. And this is just me being a little vulnerable, putting myself out there. Um, I didn't understand why God put me and my husband to cross paths. I didn't understand why that would happen. I didn't understand that it even could happen. But once it did happen, I never doubted God. I never not knew for one moment that he was sent into my life in the manner in which he came into my life by God, because that was a thing where it was like only God can do it. But my point is, the biggest blessing lies in the very plan that he does that we don't understand. Meeting my husband has been one of the biggest blessings of my life outside of becoming a mother. My baby will forever be my biggest blessing. That is my home girl. And that this that I'm living in, this is not even something I could dream of for myself. But that's what happened when we let God be God. When we trust that his way is better than our way, that his thoughts are not our thoughts, that his plans are not our plans, and that all we have to do is just trust him, seek him, and let him guide the way. Listen, if this episode spoke to you or warmed your heart in any way possible, I want you to share it with somebody that you're grateful for. I want you to share it with somebody who maybe has had a tough time being grateful, who has had a tough time showing gratitude, who's forgotten what gratitude looks like. I want you to pass it along to them. I also want you guys to share with us how you're spending your holidays this year with your family. What are your traditions? In the living room, I couldn't really do very much. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I'm talking about this living room I couldn't do much in. I called my mama today to talk to her, and this heifer had been cooked. I mean, she had been cooked a lot. And I said, "You ain't really cook like that when I was growing up. Like, what happened? Like, you ain't cook when I was growing up for holidays. I couldn't be in the living room on the holidays." It's something about these parents when their kids start having kids. It's like a new leaf turns or something. I don't know what that foolishness is about. But, anyways, I hope that you guys have had a great Thanksgiving. I'm so happy that you made time to come and watch this episode today. Even if it's not on Thanksgiving and you're watching it after, I trust and believe that you are going to watch this episode and you are going to see this episode at the very destined time that God has for you. Do me a favor and follow us on Instagram at TLRP with Adriann. It's TLRP with Adriann. Make sure you're following us. God is about to do something really great here in the living room, and I want you guys to be here for it. I want to take you with me. I want you to experience this journey with me because it's not over, it's just beginning. Peace.